There is a secret hidden for thousands of years. As the master of food and beverage of this place, he will reveal it to you. The world needs to know. His name is Paul Schenk.
Hi, I'm Paul Schenk, and welcome. I'm going to introduce you to the world's best kept culinary secret. That's Korean food, better known as 한식. One of the most popular dishes in Korea, without doubt, is bulgogi. And bulgogi is a beef dish. And of course, first we've got to start by preparing the meat. So let me show you. Come with me. So the first thing that I need to do, we've got a beautiful piece of meat here. It's sirloin. For the first step is slicing it very thinly, or as thin as you possibly can, with your hand and a knife. And the idea of this is that it cooks very, very quickly, so it stays nice and tender. So you can see that with the knife, trying to get it as thin as I can. All right, we're almost at the end of preparing the beef. Simply put that into a bowl, and the next step will be preparing the onions and the marination for this dish. So I've got my onion, and wouldn't it be nice to always just pull an onion out of the fridge that's already peeled? It's a little bit easy for me, but obviously we do a few things to save a little bit of time. I'm just going to take the core off the end and then simply slice the onions very thinly. Ready for action, Duncan? Ready? Let's go. Nice and thinly, one way. Make sure you don't cut your fingers. So there we go, onions thinly sliced. We've got half an onion there, mixed with our beef. That's going to be definitely enough. There we go, 2 steps done. The beef and the onions are ready. For the sauce, we have a few different ingredients. The main ingredient is soy sauce. So usually you find you're not adding much more salt in your dish because of the soy sauce factor. So I've got soy sauce. We've also got my sesame oil prepared, ready to go. I'm not going to put that in just yet. Soy sauce, sugar. Sugar's next. That's salt. That was sugar. Yeah, sugar is next. So I put the sugar in. We've got a little bit of honey. Honey is certainly a beautiful natural sweetener also for this dish. The key ingredient to bulgogi is a vegetable or a fruit that's called pear. It's a Korean pear. It's I'm going to grab one out of the fridge so you can see what it looks like. So this is the Korean pear. The Korean pear is also called simply a pear. It's crispy, has a white flesh, and normally you would peel it, obviously just using a peeler. You can replace this at home with an apple or a pear. Mr. Kim is going to show us a very special technique in Korea on how to peel fruit and vegetables. So he'll demonstrate his peeling expertise. Check that out. Have a look at this. Amazing technique. It's so fast, so quick. It's something I've been learning and practicing. I'm not as fast as Mr. Kim, but I'm getting there. So we have the pear. We cut the pear into quarters. We take out the core. Have a look at the, simply take out the core. You can see the texture of the pear. Have a look at that. It's very, very juicy and crisp. All right, so we've got the core done. The next step, we're going to grate this very finely to get the juice. So we have Mama's grater. All right, so we'll mix that juice in with our other mixture of soy sauce and honey. I'll just have a quick cleanup. And love this fruit. One of my favorites. You can hear the crisp. Honestly, one of my favorite fruits in the world. Incredible. Next step, bring out the whisk. Mix it up. You can feel the honey's a bit stuck in the bottom. To this, we will now add the sesame oil. We'll add our sesame seeds. Give that a mix. Okay. So we've got some final chopping to do, and then we'll be ready to go. So here we go. I've got my Korean leeks and also my peeled garlic. What a luxury. The Korean leeks are very similar, or pretty much oversized spring onions. I'm going to cut these into small length, like so. Open them up in half again. And then we're going to slice them very thinly, lengthways. That's our shallots. Then what we'll do is just chop them very fine. Has to be chopped finely so you don't have the any of the stringy tough bits in there. You can see that. Chop it up nice and fine. So that's our finely chopped Korean leek or spring onions. For the garlic, we simply take off the top, like so. Now the garlic is one of those things. You can either put in as little as you like, or you can put in as much as you like. Just squash the garlic. Come down and have a look, Duncan. Squash the garlic, like so. Flatten it with the knife, and then chop it up. You see the flattening basically breaks up the garlic, makes it a lot easier to finely chop it. There's our chopped garlic, done. Ready to go into the mix. This is bulgogi sauce. This is it. We mix that up. I put in the beef, the onions, our bulgogi mix. We've got to mix this, and certainly one of the great things about cooking hanshik or Korean food is a lot of it involves marinating and getting your hands dirty, and bulgogi is certainly no exception to this. Okay, so we're going to grab up the beef and the onions. That's probably enough. A little bit more onions. Beautiful. Look at that. You can see the pan's hot enough. We're certainly getting enough heat from that. The smell is gorgeous. You know, in Korea, when they cook bulgogi traditionally, you walk into a restaurant, the barbecue is in the middle of the table. That's one of the awesome things. Everybody sits around the table, you enjoy the food together. Turn them over nicely. You can see the color. The color comes, it's caramelizing, and the color's coming from the sugar in there, the honey, and also, you know, from the onions as well. Beautiful golden color. All right, so that's ready to serve. Now, the beef, you just simply place it on there. You would also serve this traditionally with steamed rice. And then we put the sauce on top. You can see the juices there. Look at that. And just to finish it off, a little sprinkling of sesame seeds. The dish is hot. I put it up. Oh, it smells amazing. That is bulgogi, and welcome to Hanshik, Korean food. Hi, I'm Paul Schenk. Now we're going to make galbeejim. Galbeejim is one of my favorite dishes in Korea. It's absolutely stunning, perfect for winter, a little bit technical to make, so you're going to have to follow carefully, but it's a dish that I love. So I need some meat, beef short rib. Come on in, I'm in my butchery shop now. I've got to go get the meat. Come on in, let's have a look, see if we can find it. Galbi. Here's my galbi, perfect. So as I mentioned, beef short rib. I just need 6 pieces. Then we can run up to the kitchen and we can make this dish. Let's go have some fun. So like I mentioned, we're going to make galbeejim. The key ingredient to making this dish, without doubt, is this beautiful piece of meat. It's a short rib cut. It's about 5 centimeters thick. So you can ask your local butcher for this Korean style short rib, 5 centimeter cut. What I'm going to do next is trim the galbi to show you how to do it. Now, as you can see, have a good look, there's a bone on there. The bone is actually one of the most important parts of this because it's going to help us create the stock or the flavor of this. So the first thing we need to do is just to trim down the sinew off the top. There's one top level of sinew. This is very, very tough piece of meat that you cannot actually digest. So you can see I've cut that. You have to be very careful when cutting, to be sure not to cut sort of dangerously in the direction of yourself. You can see I'm holding up and cutting away. So the next step is to simply put this into water for about 1 hour. So this is what we have to do. We're going to soak it in there for 1 hour in cold water. You can even rinse it off once or twice during that period. I need to make a cut on the top of the beef. And what the cut does is it allows the meat to cook more easily. So you can see the bone is at the bottom. I will cut down, not all the way down, just a little bit through. This is what we call scoring. So we're scoring the beef. You can see that when it's cooked, it will sort of go like that. And what that allows, it allows it to cook more evenly and gets more of the flavor all the way through the meat. Okay, now our water's boiling. That's exactly what we're after. We drop our beef into the boiling water for 2 minutes. We've got 6 pieces there. That's enough for mum, dad and the kids. There we go. So 2 minutes and counting. And again, what this does is it releases the odor, and we will start again with fresh water. Okay, so I'll just turn that off now. There's our meat ready to go. 6 pieces. You can see the what the scoring does. Like I said, it will open up the beef and allows it to be cooked very soon, a lot more evenly with full flavour. You can see the water, there's lots of scum, it's changed its colour. That water is out, new water in. Put it on full, bring it to the boil. The next step is to prepare the vegetables. The vegetables are in the fridge. I'll have a look and see what we have in there. Very traditional dish. What am I looking for? Some of the key ingredients for Galbeejim. You may ask, what is that? This is a radish, basic Korean radish. Big size, but they're always big. So we just take the top off, cut this in half. I'm simply going to peel off the skin. Cut that's about 1 inch thick. Cut this into quarters and then trim up the edges. What I want from this is a little bit, still a little bit too big, obviously. So I'm going to try and get a little bit of a round shape. This is something that makes the dish look a lot nicer. If you can do this at home, great. If not, just keep it a little bit more rustic, that's fine too. You can see that's like a circle shape. I'll trim the top edge, I'll trim the bottom edge, and there we go. I've got a nice round circular shape. I've got some here that I prepared earlier as well, so we're just going to use those to save me time. Once again, I've pre-prepared the carrots. You can see them, they're in a nice little circular shape. The water's boiling, so we're ready to cook the second step of the beef. No seasoning, no salt, no pepper. It's purely the beef in the boiling water, simmering for 40 minutes. So back goes the beef. Nice, fresh, boiling water. You can see they're just covered with water. That will boil 40 minutes. We have to soak mushrooms. The mushrooms are pyogo mushrooms. That's what we call them in Korea. They're also known as shiitake. The ones that I have here are dried. If you have the luxury of having them fresh, no problem. This is what they look like. That's the mushroom there. That's dry, it's hard as a rock, and it needs to be soaked overnight. You'll see what happens. Of course, I've pre-done some, but you'll see what happens when they become soaked. They enlarge in size and they become very soft. These mushrooms have a great flavor. So my mushrooms have been soaking overnight. They're ready to go also. We take off the stem. It's a little bit tough. And we cut them in half or into 4. The next step is chestnuts. What I've done with these chestnuts already is I've peeled them. They're ready to go. We're going to put them in the dish whole. The next ingredient is ginkgo nuts. Into the pan. We're just going to keep cooking them and keep tossing them. This will take about 2 minutes. I will tip out onto the cloth. Of course, it's very, very hot, so you have to be careful with this. And I'll simply give them a rub. You can see that they're all coming out of their shell. And that's my ginkgo nuts, nicely cleaned, ready to put into our dish. This is the jujube. We take off the top, the bottom. Inside is a seed, so I'm just going to go right to the heart of it and take out the seed. At the same time, roll around it. You can see I'm just rolling that up, and what it does is it actually sticks to itself. I'll cut these now. I'll cut them into 3. 1, 2, 3. Next step, sauce. We get 1 mixing bowl. In that mixing bowl, we have a number of ingredients to add. One of our key ingredients, soy sauce used for so much food in Korea. We're going to put in soy. To this, I will add some honey. The honey gives it a nice sweet flavor. Corn syrup. It's about twice the amount of the honey we put in of corn syrup. And what this does is thickens the dish. In goes the garlic. You can put in as much or as less garlic as you like, but you must have some in there to give it a little bit of flavor. The Korean leek, I'm not going to put all that in, but I'll put in a little bit of it. We have ground white pepper. I need some sugar, and again, not too much. I don't want this too sweet. So I'm going to mix this sauce up now, and I've forgotten the key ingredient, the pear. Mr. Kim, it's over on your section. Can you please bring me the pear? So that's grated pear. It's obviously got the juice and the flesh, beautifully grated. We can put all that in. And that's our sauce. So we're ready to mix that. In it goes to our boiling beef ribs. You can see the color. Have a look at the color now. The color is not too strong, but as this simmers for a further 40 minutes, the color will change. It will deepen. The sauce will thicken a little. We've got a couple of key ingredients to add to it right now. That's the vegetables. We've got the carrot, the radish, the mushrooms. We have to add these now. So these will boil with the dish for the next 40 minutes, give it more flavor, and they'll soften beautifully during this time. Like I said, great dish for winter. In go the mushrooms, Pyogo mushrooms. Mushrooms, chestnuts. I can't forget the chestnuts as well. In go the chestnuts. I give that a gentle mix. We'll re-bring it to the boil for 40 minutes. We're in the final stages of our stock. It's coming along beautifully. Come on in, have a look. Ah, the smell is incredible. That is incredible. Look at the color. Look at the texture. To this, we add the garnish or the last ingredients for about 5 minutes of boiling, and then we're good to go. Pine seeds, jujube. You can see the texture and the color of that. We'll give that a few more minutes more, and then the dish is ready to be served. So we're back with the final product. Our Galbeejim is ready to be served. This is my favorite dish in all of Korea. I love it, and especially, great to share it with a group of friends in the middle of winter. And look at the beef. I mentioned earlier that the beef will hold its shape together with the bone. I'll put a couple of other goodies in there. I'm just making one portion here, or a serving for one. Okay, on top, we put the egg around, pine nuts, sesame seeds, and this dish is good to go. Smells amazing. Galbeejim. Smell that, Duncan. Have a look. Come in. Still steaming hot. Gorgeous for winter. So that's Galbeejim. I hope you enjoy it. It's a little bit technical to make, but give it a go. It's a lot of fun, and everybody in the family is going to love that, that's for sure.